Hi, Mike and Jake. How are you?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Hello.
Hey, so you're both incredible in this movie. I was on the edge of my seat watching it the entire time, but you both ground the material with such naturalism. So, for both of you, we'll go Micah and then Jake. What did you like best about working with each other?
Oh man, rough. um, no, I mean, I remember when Dan and Bobby, we were starting to talk about different actors for the Harry role, and yeah, we had come to Jake's name, and I had recently seen White Lotus, and I was just like, oh my god, it has to be him. He would just be perfect for the role, and it isn't an easy role. There's a lot of layers to it, if you will, and so you need someone who can take that on. And I was like, oh man, I hope this works out. And then it did, and I mean, we just, we had an absolute blast. I mean, I was just laughing till I was crying often, which was sometimes tough because I'm supposed to be scared and terrified most of this movie. And so, sometimes we'd have to just kind of reel it in a little, but no, it was incredible. It was a blast.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that Micah knew. I just learned that today that Micah was like aware of the discussions of me like doing this, and so that's been lovely to hear. Um, that's very nice. This is me. That's me. It's me receiving a compliment. Is like,
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah.
oh, God.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the thing I like working with Micah, her freedom with the script to say like I'm just not going to say these lines and to rework the material. No,
It is
uh,
totally
no, it's like
disregard the script.
yeah. How are you going to shoot it? I don't think so.
No.
I've brought a camera I'd like to use today. Oh, okay, take it away, Micah. Um, no, like there's a handful of other wonderful actors in this, but for the most part, like it's a two-hander. There's like two of
Yeah.
us for weeks on end, primarily in the woods and the water, um, making this movie. And I'd never done that before and hadn't really thought through like, oh, if you are making this with a person that you don't like to hang out with, this is a nightmare. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? This is just terrible. You have one constant coworker, and you're like, I can't be in a room with this person. Um, so it's like you just cannot. I couldn't have asked for like anything more, both on set to be like, oh, this person's prepared and professional and a wonderful actor and open and vulnerable and fun and then the same as a person where you go like, oh, this is so great. Afterward, we're shooting on location to then like all of us go to dinner together. Like it was such a cool little summer camp vibe to have this little thing and to like keep the balloon of this project afloat. Yeah, I adore Micah, and it was lovely.
Thanks, Jake.
Aw. So there's so many
All right,
twists
I'm
and
gonna
turns.
go.
So, so there are a lot of twists and turns in this movie, but it's saying a
Sure.
lot about anxiety, trauma, depression, but also the nature of love and especially self-love and acceptance. So for both of you, what were some of your favorite moments to play?
Gosh, that's so hard without giving
Right.
stuff away because I know one of my answers, but it would just give it all away.
It's when the minions come. It's when
It
all the minions
Jake,
from.
you can't.
I would say that like I love that this movie at its onset at the core of it in a way is this like relationship story of these two people who love each other but want different things for their future and so you know like there's this moment this is a mini spoiler I suppose, but like where Harry proposes and to we had done like 3 or 4 takes, and I was like, do we have time for another? Can we just do one more? And they were kind of like, don't worry about the dialogue. Like, hit these notes and you can do what you want with the rest. And it was just like a really lovely personal moment, and felt like for a second it like I settled into going like, oh, this is what this character really wants this thing to be. And knowing that like it's not going to be that, it as an actor, it was also kind of fulfilling to go like, oh, we get to set this thing up and then just watch it sort of tumble, like that was both sweet to do, and also the knowledge of like how that fits into the narrative was like, oh, that's great. Like we layered this thing in with a really lovely base to then set the story off to where it eventually, goes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've both had some amazing scene partners, amazing collaborators over the years. So I'm curious which scene partners have really changed you, or just, really changed you, or made a mark on how you like go to your other projects.
Oh man. Go Jake, go.
I just did this project, and in it, this wonderful actor, Phil Ettinger, plays my brother, and he was in a number of things, but first Reformed with Ethan Hawke a couple of years back, and like he and I, kind of the same age, and like kind of started out, came up at the same time in New York, and I've always like admired him, and then was thrilled to get to work with him. It's just somebody that like shows up and you go like, you're doing the thing I want to do, man. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're like, he elevates, not because he's going like, play ball, man, get over, this is the real deal, but just through like witnessing how he's working and going like, well, Jake, it's just a choice if you want to work like that, if you want to like really give over and commit and like be a part of this thing, and so of recent, Phil is a dude that I'm like, right on, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. I feel like I learned so much every project and working with so many incredible actors, but I feel like just the one that pops in my head most recently was Nikolai, who is an actor from Game of Thrones, and we did this project. I think it was actually right before Significant Other, and it was such a challenging project, and every day was it was just super intense, and I was so lucky to have a person that was so grounded and so supportive. And I can't really imagine that movie, without that actor. So yeah, I feel like I learned a lot from that.
Love it. Well, thank you both so much for the art that you bring into the world. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely day. Thank you for taking the time.